Just tell us, when you get Omer, the pressure he might take off Braden Fletcher, some of those guys, how that can be leveraged.
I just think the answer to it is like getting into practice and watching how everything unfolds in terms of who we put with who, and like we mix it up. So it's not like we don't try to neglect one thing because something could organically like happen in terms of matchups. As we play bigger and we play smaller, obviously given another ball handler in there that can break the defense down, I think that's the area where that can really help us.
Well, it seemed like TK was passing on the short roll was an issue. Just having another big there, how does that open things up?
Yeah, it keeps that guy at home. They got a decision to make, right? And so TK is very good at kind of, we always talk to him about pausing there. Like you can make your play right away, but if it's not there on the catch, just pause it and just let the defense give you the answer. And he does a great job of making that intermediate shot and making that pass. So just trying to have that, good interior passing with different ideas.
Last year on defense, you didn't have the size, so you had to focus on the perimeter. Now you have the size. How does that complement with what you went through last year?
It's still, trying to keep the ball out of the paint more than anything. Like, there's just too many plays at the rim for us last year, no matter who was there. So that's first and foremost for us, to do a better job of not allowing so many plays at the rim, but then also when it does happen, feeling better about it because we do have rim protection. So, Oscar is really good in ball screen defense. Daniel is very good at protecting the rim, and they both can do the other part also, which is good, but it's going to be great for us because, having one of those guys in the game at all times, gives us that rim protection more than anything. But I still think the most important thing is keeping the ball out of the paint and not letting it get there so much. I mean, there's such a high volume of play at the rim, whether you're not boxing out or you're not containing the dribble or you're allowing the ball in the post on a pass. Like, it just gets to be too much.
How many avenues are there to explore in terms of leveraging Trey and size together offensively, and how those guys can coexist and make each other better?
It just depends. Like, are you playing out a ball screen action? Like today, you saw a lot of that in the short roll, and it really gets leveraged because it puts that big in a quick, spot where they're playing 2-on-1, but the rim's involved. So the rim's involved with the 7-footer, and now you're stuck there. Now when you play out of the post, it just depends on which one of those guys is initially getting the ball. So like if Trey's getting the ball, now they can come with the bigger double, where if they're getting, the basketball, do they want to leave Trey and let Trey be weak side rebounding, and vice versa. So sometimes the action's really not that good, but when shots get up there, you're in such great rebound position that it's a high percentage play. The other times, it's just such an efficient offensive play. You want the ball at the rim. Like, you want as many opportunities at the rim as you can get. A lot of guys away from the rim, 8 to 10 feet, are not very good. Drake Hoffman's really good from 8 to 10 feet, 10 to 12 feet. He's very good at maneuvering in those areas. So he will get more opportunities in that area. It doesn't mean that he doesn't play in the low post, because he will, but we will play through the 5 at times in post-ups. We'll play through the 4 sometimes in post-ups, and then they'll get more opportunities in ball screen.
Just the burden of staying out of the other guy's way is on who?
Yeah, you
Trey with the center.
So you see the drill work that we do, and when you see a flip-up lob or you see a duck-in pass, you're just trying to make sure they stay on their runways. The problem that happens is when you get defended, you get resistance. So when there's nobody out there, or it's us going against us, sometimes the resistance isn't quite there. So when you get to a game and someone's grabbing you, holding you, pushing you, it's a little bit different to roll and get out of things. But we're trying to show them not getting in each other's way with the spacing and how they have to go about that.
How quick of an acclimation process was it for Oscar coming in here?
More just being in shape. Wasn't in the best shape when he showed up. So like more of cardiovascular. He was effective though. I said very few people are out of shape and effective, and he was effective. So that was cool. Like, hey, I bet you he's going to be effective when he gets in shape. But no, it's just him getting his wind, getting his legs under him. Very knowledgeable. Like we're not saying anything that he doesn't know. And so anytime you have a guy that has that experience, he's been around good coaches. both his coaches. I've met all three of his coaches. Like all three of them are excellent coaches in college. Now, hopefully, I can be up to that standard as his fourth coach in college. But no, they did a good job. They did a really good job of getting him to this point. But it really is learning what we do in ball screen D, learning what we do in post D, how we handle certain actions, and then learning those actions from an offensive standpoint too, and just learning what we do, just the vernacular and fitting it in.
Last year was communication that you were harping on it. Is there something that's standing out about this team?
We communicate better, but we still don't communicate well. So, it's just trying to get them, especially the ones that don't have that quite a personality, like an outgoing personality. It doesn't matter what your personality is. Your personality on the court's got to be one that's competitive and early, loud, and continuous. Your voice.
How much of the gap you want to fill defensively is just accounted for by just defensive rebounding?
There's a lot to that, just finishing off plays and doing a better job so we can get in transition, because we're a good transition team. So you see that one drill that we work on with that. So that's really important. More than anything for us is also doing our job. I think sometimes when you get cerebral people, sometimes they can overthink some things. And that was some of our issues last year, that where it wasn't what we were doing at times, it was how we were doing it. And just trying to, have that understanding is that we don't want to break what we're doing. Just keep doing your job, keep reading situations, and then kind of go from there and build off of it. So,
what have you liked about Jack Benner all summer?
He's been great. He's really played well, and just his feel for the game, his ability to pass. He's gotten in some tough physical matchups. He always responds. He always comes back, especially when he gets hit or he gets hurt. So he's very competitive, tough, intelligent. Just got a lot of winning qualities. So he's gonna help us. He's gonna really put the other team in a bind with his spacing and his passing.
Are you trying him at the four out of need, or just trying to find a place to get him on the floor?
A little bit of both. He can play the 3 and the 4, but right now, being able to play that position. Obviously he's going to compete at both, but right now in practice with Liam being out, that's what we need. So with Liam coming back, I think he'll play both the 3 and the 4 and just kind of go from there.
Daniel's international experience to get back in the flow of playing games.
Right.
How valuable is that to come back now? And it's not going to be the first game when you go out there and have your first experience.
Yeah, I thought it was great for him. Just to get out there and build confidence. Physically, just having that trust after you have an injury like that and have a surgery like that. Trust is hard to kind of obtain, from a physical standpoint. So just getting out there and getting hit and getting a real live game. So he's been great. I thought that experience, just like the summer before, they're real confidence boosters. They really help you. You're playing against the best players in the world at your age.
To have a nucleus of seniors like Braden and Fletch, just to have already integrated new people into the team, do they get better at doing that? Third, fourth year?
They get, when you first start, you're the ones that's, getting in the mix, but then when you start everything as a true freshman, now trying to help the guys the next year, and then, you get a high experience of understanding when people know things versus when people don't know things. And that's the one thing. Fletch is very talkative, and he really helps in that regard. TK and Braden really know what they're doing, but it's trying to get them not to always talk about things after the fact, try to get ahead of issues so they don't happen, and just trying to get them to communicate to the best of their ability because they're knowledgeable and they understand.
With the House 7 being implemented now, do you feel like there's good clarity around revenue sharing, NIL, third-party NIL?
No, not necessarily. You just want to see how it's going to unfold. Not everybody is in that system. Most everybody's in that system. So, how does that? The one major question is, what is the role of the collective? We really felt that this was moving towards the collective being out of the equation. But I don't think that's 100% been answered yet. And we'll just kind of see how things unfold, because we're going to go through the revenue sharing and then have name, image, and likeness on top of it. And you can't promise name, image, and likeness. So it's got to be the real. And we've talked about it before of name, image, and likeness 2 years ago being 13% of their money, and the collective being 87%, but yet it's called name, image, and likeness. It wasn't name, image, it was the collective. And we've had real name, image, and likeness guys because we've had multiple All-Americans. So how many people have had 3 All-Americans in Trey, Braden, and Zach in this space, right? So those guys have made money, you know, with name, image, and likeness. But like, we'll see. You know, obviously there's a company that's going to be able to do that. But the real question, in my opinion, even though I want to see that also, is how they handle that. Is that collective still in play? We were under the impression that we were trying to work towards where that wasn't. And now I think there's some uncertainty there. There is some uncertainty there. But hopefully time answers that.
Where has Jakari taken steps this offseason?
Yeah, I think just being comfortable with what we're doing. You know, like when coaches speak and coaches talk, going from your freshman year to your sophomore year to where you're not processing as much, you're playing. Like, it's hard to really compete and play at a high level when you're not confident that you're doing the right thing. And most freshmen are in that mold. That's why you see the biggest jump from your freshman year to your sophomore year. You're like, well, now I know what I'm doing. I'm just playing. I'm just competing. So I think that's the area that's made it easier for him. But I think it's made that easier for any freshman working into their sophomore year.
Thanks, man.
Cool. Thank you.